enjoying a delicious meal with yours truly.
Oh, if you haven't been to
Bib Gang Poker.
The viewers are missing out, Ethan. I mean, look at this. Look at that. And you dip it in here, swirl it around a little bit.
Don't spill. Slurp that up. Start an ASMR channel, actually.
He made it.
Turn it up.
He made it.
Let's go.
Let's get it. We kick off the night at the 3-5 game and buy in for 300. Rampage starts at the 5-5, but we'll eventually meet him up at that table. We look down to King Queen of Diamonds from the cutoff and the straddle's on. Folds to me and I raise it up to $30 and only the big blind calls. Going heads up to the flop with 75 in the pot, which comes King of Clubs, 6 of Spades, 9 of Clubs. We flop top pair. He now does something interesting and leads into us for 25. I'm going nowhere and put in the call. Turn with 125 in the pot comes the 5 of Spades now. Puts 2 spades on board, but I'm not really too worried. He bets $50 into me again here, and I call again. Can't really go anywhere with top pair. The river with 225 now in the pot comes the 6 of Hearts. Spades break off, and we still have top pair with a pretty good kicker. Only an ace beats us. He bets 100 now into 225, which isn't too scary. The only thing that is scary is the fact that he donked into us on the flop and then continued betting on the turn and the river, so there is some caution. But when I have to call 100 to win 325, I think I just need to be putting in the money here, so that's what I do. He unfortunately shows ace king and ends up scooping a $425 pot. After losing that first pot, we rebuy for another 300. Second hand, we look down at 10-8 of hearts from the button. Cutoff raises to 25. I call, big blind calls, so we're going 3 ways to the flop with 78 in the pot. Flop comes 9 of diamonds, 4 of clubs, 3 of clubs. We have nothing but hope for the future streets. Checks to me, and when 2 people check into me, I'm gonna take a stab here occasionally, so I bet $45 and both people call. Interesting line developing here already. The turn with 213 now in the pot comes the deuce of hearts. Wish there was a heart on the flop to give us some backdoor draws, but unfortunately we still have nothing. Checks to me, and I'm not doing anything again here when they both call on the flop, so I check behind. The river with the same 213 in the pot comes a queen of spades. Big blind bets 120, cutoff raises to 260, so yeah, he was playing something interesting or just got there on the river. I make an easy fold, and the big blind calls his river raise. The cutoff ends up having ace-5 of hearts for the wheel. He got there on the turn, and he's going to scoop that pretty large pot. Next hand, we look down at ace-jack of hearts from the cutoff. Under the gun raises to 25. I'm going nowhere, I call. Button and the big blind also calls, so we're going 4 ways to the flop with around 103 in the pot. Flop comes 7 of diamonds, 7 of clubs, 5 of spades. We have 2 overs and really no backdoor draws. Checks around. The turn with 103 in the pot comes the jack of diamonds, so we end up turning top pair with a top kicker. Checks to me. I'm going to bet here, so I bet $50. The button folds, and now the big blind raises to 100. Interesting spot here. He could be slow playing a 7 on the flop when he checked. Or he could have a jack and just wants to get extra value, so I call the extra $50. The river with 303 in the pot comes a queen of spades. Big blind bets 30 into 300, so I'm getting like 10 to 1. I'm not going to raise because he could have a 7, but I can't fold, so I call. Sure enough, he shows ace 7 and scoops the $363 pot with trip 7s. Just how our night's going. At this point, we finally get switched to the 5-5 game. We have around 548 that we move over from the other table. Tried to get into Rampage's game, but the table was full, so we put our name on the list and we're first up. First hand that it seems like we won in a while. We beat pocket tens with our jacks. The pre-flop action was raised, and then the pot just got checked down on the flop turn in a river when the flop had a king and the turn had an ace. None of us wanted to bet with our jacks and tens, so I end up scooping that pot, which is nice. We then switch over to Ethan's table and got into the most interesting spot of the night in my opinion. I have ace queen of spades in the under the gun +1 position. One limp to me and I bet $25. My left raises to 60, and up until this point he was loose aggressive. He wasn't a maniac, but he definitely wasn't the tightest person at the table, so take that into consideration. Only I call his raise to 60, so we're going heads up to the flop with 130 in the pot. Flop is a good one. We flop top pair, ace of clubs, 4 of clubs, 10 of spades. We have backdoor draws being straight and potentially flushes. I check it over to the pre-flop aggressor, and he decides to check it back, which is interesting. Turn with the same 130 in the pot comes the 9 of spades. We now pick up a spade draw, but we're definitely not going to be checking it over to him here when he checks back on the flop. We need to get some value. I bet 85 into 130, which I think is good. We want to deny equity to club draws, straight draws, worst aces we want to get value out of, and he snap calls. I think this is indicative of a draw. I think an ace would put a little bit more thought into it, but draws, he just doesn't want to fold, and he puts in the call. The river with 300 in the pot comes the jack of clubs, which is one of the worst cards in the deck. King queen gets there, ace jack gets there, a stubborn 10 gets there. I mean, he was playing a lot more hands than everyone else at the table, so I think a lot of these hands are definitely in his range. The club draw also gets there. Would have been nice to have a spade on the river just so there's no stress. I'm gonna go into check call mode here unless he totally bombs the river. I check it over to him, and with 300 in the pot, he overbets the pot and bets $315. I go into the tank here for a while. A lot of the people look a little bit disgusted that I'm taking so long. It's probably pushing 2 to 3 minutes, and I end up making a fold. I'm not sure if this is the right decision. Do we need to be calling someone who's loose aggressive? Is he just capitalizing on the fact that we bet the turn and then check the river on a scary card? Maybe, probably. Or is he just playing a hand that has us beat? I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments if this was a good fold, a bad fold, if I should stop playing poker entirely. I add on for another 200, this time in the form of 2 black chips, and we're into the game for a bunch. We catch back up with the action with Rampage, getting revenge for us and stacking the opponent who just got us in the last hand. This time Rampage has pocket aces in a very large pot where the opponent paid him off. There we go, Rampage, one for the good guys. We mess around a little bit with Jack 10 of spades, where we get into some action. We flop nothing and fold to a bet, pretty typical. The same thing happens with King of Clubs, 10 of Hearts. We call a raise in a multi-way pot, trying to make something happen to get us a little bit unstuck. I don't flop anything, I don't turn anything, and I end up folding. We rack up what we have left and head back to the cage. We cashed out for $448, but ended up booking a loss of $752, 462 in the 3-5 and 300 in the 5-5 game. So overall, kind of a brutal night. Yo, what's up? So we're coming to you live after this like 4 to 5 hour session in the Antarctic weathers of Hawaiian Gardens, California, where we booked a $750 loss. Ethan, how'd you do today?
Fat minus 18 hundo.
Okay, so somewhat in the same.
Kind of gave it all to a guy that was probably on shrooms or something.
Yeah, something like that. You tried to calm down with pocket deuces, and the dude showed, what did he have, like ace 6 or something?
6.
Yeah, that was nuts. And then aces went up in flames, but
there were a lot of bad spots. But
yeah, all in all, Hawaiian Gardens, it's outside, open for 2 days. Come check it out. Ethan's headed back to Boston tomorrow.
Let's go.
But
Boston.
We'll get him back out here again soon. But thanks for watching, you guys. As always, like,
smash it,
comment
down below for the YouTube algorithm. Just do it for the support.
Do something. Do something.
Grinding out here. Let's go.
Peace. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.